Okay, so in a classic move, even though I did say I was going to break these up into several parts, I hit the off button while I was trying to open one of those tins, I think, in the last video. So I just ended that video abruptly because I don't really know how to edit still at this point, which I know is terrible, but I don't have a lot of time on my hands to learn that. I'm sure at some point I will. I have a very smart neighbor. It's the Chuck Chuck Kid, who actually is opening a business up not too far away from me. And he has offered at some point to show me how to do all that young people stuff. So yeah, the other stuff that I just sort of went through in the first video was the He-Man, MOTU stuff, some of the Star Wars, and the Transformers stuff. Gonna go through the rest. There is still lots of stuff to go through in here. G.I. Joe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, some Voltron, Batman stuff, and perhaps I will start with what was my favorite, perhaps my favorite piece. I didn't collect or get Thundercats when I was a kid. I think I'd sort of aged out of toys at that point. I had gotten into sports and, you know, music. I really got into collecting records right around my teenage years, the beginning of my teenage years, and far away on the horizon was the specter of girls. And you know, I'd heard they didn't think collecting toys was too cool, so I, you know, fell to the pressure and sort of toyed out. But they did put out some of the coolest stuff, and this has to be one of them. It is perhaps my favorite 1980s base. It is Mumra's Tomb, and this one came in this lot, and it is in pretty great shape. It is, as far as I can tell, complete. It's got a little bit of dust on it, but other than that, next to zero paint wear. The eyes and the teeth, I believe, still glow in the dark, although I haven't tested it. Yeah, the only thing about it is the spinner is a little janky, which is unfortunate, but it does spin around every so often. I was playing with it today. There we go. Spins around, and there you have the, I forget what this was. It was one of the mummies is in there, and it also came with, check it out, there's Mumra, and he's got his hood. And I do believe I saw his little dagger somewhere, but I haven't seen the sword yet, so that's something that may pop up in some of the other things. The bull alarms go up and down, and the alligator tail is there and working. It is just a solid piece, and pretty hard to find, actually. I don't know if it was because Thundercats didn't get quite the distribution that some of the other toy lines did, or if it might have been just one of those, it was expensive compared to other toys, so not everybody got them, but it is such an amazing toy. Yeah, pretty happy to have this one. This one might hang around a little bit on my shelf somewhere in the back before I do put it out. I'm kind of a catch and release guy at this point. I have a few things that I hold on to, but eventually I think they all end up out in the store. So yeah, that was one of the great things to pick up during this latest toy pick. Just to recap, it is a whole childhood toy collection from one person that was left behind, and I got a call to come look at it. Let's see some of the other stuff, and it primarily ranges from in the 1980s, almost all of it. There's a few stuff that sort of moves into the 90s, but what do we got here? This is the Batman. Batman stuff, again, is one of these things I had aged out pretty much by the time a lot of this Batman stuff, although Batman is one of the obviously the coolest characters of all time. There were a lot of toys that Kenner put out, and I'm not super familiar with the line myself, but here we go. It's some sort of Batman Blaine. I think it's 1989. Excuse me, that is 2 sneezes in 2 videos. I have such quality control. But yeah, everything seems to work on it. There looks like there's a little fin missing, but again, if you've seen the other video, there are bags and boxes and little parts sitting at the bottom of all of these boxes there. The wing pops off, so I don't think that's actually broken. I think it's just has popped out. I don't know if this is Batman or not. It kind of looks like it, maybe. I don't know. Some sort of submarine? I don't know. Batcopter, and there's a Batman in there, and the Batmobile. Now somewhere, yeah, the trunk is actually shoved back inside there, so that's something that I'm gonna have to look at. And it looks to me like the missile things have been taped, so those might have broken off and were taped on. It doesn't have its windshield, although again, there are things that could be the windshield kicking around, so you never know. And there is a Batman figure. That's like a classic Batman figure. I like the look of that. That's great. That's the Batman I grew up with. What do we got here? Oh, I showed this in the other one. That's the shield for one of the... how's my fingers look up that close? Man, I am so good at this. I can't believe Hollywood hasn't called make movies and things like that. But that goes with a Thundercat figure. He's kind of like a giant abominable. He's a snowman with abs. No, it's abominable snowman. A type figure, something up the mountain, and he is complete because he has a staff, and now that is his shield. That is pretty solid. What else here? Let's hit the Voltron up. This was in there, and this is awesome. There are some 70s stuff. This is Atomic Man, G.I. Joe, and he's pretty cool. He's got the working eyes. You're supposed to be able to look through the head, I believe, and see how kind of like a precursor to the Bionic Man. Actually, this probably came out as a response to the Bionic Man. I'm not sure on that, but that's just speculation on my part. But pretty cool guy. Kind of sought after too. Interesting thing with the Bionic parts and things like that. But these are the Voltron, the different lines. There are only, sadly, 3 of them, so I can't make the full standing Voltron. But you've got the one that would be the chest piece, and these are all 1986, I think. Not 100%, but I think on that. You got the green lion, you got the yellow lion, and I have the cover for that somewhere. The canopy is somewhere. Something for a random basketball game, which I don't know. Just a little scoreboard, kind of cool. Don't know what it goes to. But then some of the Voltron guys are in there, and I don't know if that's Voltron or not. And they've got their keys, which is kind of cool. Now, there is a baggie somewhere that's filled with a lot of the weapons and parts for these guys too. So, nice thing about all this is I have another full, complete Voltron in the showcase already. But way up there, I don't know if you can see it, I have Castle Lions. So I will probably be able to display all of these together, which will make a nice little display in the store. Yeah, so glad to have that. This pile of debris is a later Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles base. It is something I'm going to have to spend time. It's one of the sewer bases type thing, I think. I'm going to have to spend some time to go together and get that all put together. Not looking forward to that job. What is that? Oh, this probably goes with that. I forget the name of this G.I. Joe helicopter. Again, there are a lot of weapons and a lot of parts kicking around in all of these boxes. This will probably end up being fairly complete when it's done. Can't remember the name of this one. This was a little later. So what else we got down here? The shell of a Darth Vader ship, the command ship that I think he had. It's just the shell. Nothing else came with it that I could see. So what else we got down here? That is RoboCop, one of the RoboCop cars. What else? It looks just like the shell of a snow speeder, but lots of the snow speeder parts are down inside here and in the other bag too. So I will probably be able to put together a complete snow speeder, which is kind of nice. Oh, poor Boba. He's seen some action. Clearly he split apart. Somebody duct taped him at some point and then took the tape off. But his arms are inside the box here. Oh, is that the cap for... Not gonna lie, don't know what that's from. Yeah, there is poor Boba's arms. Is that one fire? No, it's the later edition one. Missing a canopy, but it is a Xylon Raiders ship from the Battlestar Galactica series. Original, these are those Star Wars things that didn't actually exist in Star Wars, but they just made them anyways during the Empire years. A pretty beat up, probably end up parting this one out. Land speeder. I don't know what this is from. I want to say maybe the cap of that. No. I mean, it looks like Star Wars. It's in the box with the Star Wars. I can't see who. It's Hasbro. 1987 or 3. I don't know. And then a couple of X-Wing pilots. And a vase. I don't know what that is doing in there at all. So that's pretty cool. That's, you know, nothing super exciting. That's more like a parts box, but it's got some great parts to it. What else do we got over here? Okay, there's another piece to that Turtles base. These are some of the later, I guess, when they turned some of the 3¼ G.I. Joes back into 12-inch ones back in the day. There's like Cobra guy there and Snake Eyes and whatnot. There are parts for those. I've seen them kicking around. Now this, again, looks like that is one of the G.I. Joe bases for the 3 3/4, which might work out. I don't think it's complete, but it might work out because I have a partial base and I might be able to put together a whole base. The whole thing. So that'd be pretty awesome if I can pull that off. These are all just tons of base parts. Again, just more random stuff. That is the gun from, I want to say, the Maggot, which I think is in here, not in this one, but that's a Joe. There's a surprising lack of G.I. Joe figures in this, like the 3 3/4 ones. These are all, look like they're all Joe vehicle parts. Yeah, it's all just random vehicle parts. That looks like a stand for one of the big guys. But again, this is the stuff that is awesome to have because, again, I might be able to get a whole G.I. Joe base out of it because I kept parts from another partial base before that's sitting in the back, and there looks like there's fins for aircraft and all kinds of things in there. So that's kind of good. Speaking of Joes and parts, bam, there it is. That is a massive amount of stuff. I mean, and again, a lot of this looks like stuff for the vehicles, but there's also a lot when you get scratched down to the bottom there. Tiny little guns and backpacks and things for the 3 3/4 G.I. Joes, which I don't have a lot of figures of in this group, which kind of surprised me. I thought there'd be some more when I got down to the bottom of some of these boxes, but you know, my first sort of go through, I didn't see very many, if any. There's a few, but those I think are actually not the Hasbro G.I. Joes. These are, I think, Lenard figures, because there's a Lenard tank kicking around here somewhere. So we'll keep going. There it is. That is the maggot that giant gun goes to. That is one of the guns, I think, from the Joe base. So we'll put you over there with the Joe base. There is a giant bug somewhere kicking around in amongst this bunch of stuff, which I did see before was the bubble piece that goes there. And I've seen a bunch of canopies and a bunch of weapons that would probably go with that. So I think I probably have that bug whole. And then just more Joe stuff. Now this, I don't know. Not sure what that is from. I don't think it's G.I. Joe. Well, that might be Ninja Turtles. Kind of looks like a sewer part. I don't know. I'm sure people who know are screaming at the TV, "You idiot, how do you not know that?" Well, I'm a generalist. I have things that that's Batman. I'm pretty sure that's Batman. No, maybe it's G.I. Joe. Huh, I don't know. I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, but not a lot about a few things. So generally, when I get big lots like this, Google Eye becomes my friend. And it helps me figure out which ones go with which, and then I learn as I go. Because the best way to learn, I have always found, is to just buy the stuff and dive right in. And, you know, it's essentially like a free education. As you go along in this stuff, you learn about it, and then the next time you come across a big lot, that's a bug canopy again, you have a bit more knowledge to sort of spread around. And that's great. More of the Joe weapons, vehicles in here. There are a ton of them. You get down to the bottom and you can see all the different canopies. That is the motorcycle. I actually have the paperwork for that somewhere, and an old collection of paperwork that I have. So that is somewhere. Oh, this is gonna be fun. But yeah, not a lot of G.I. Joe. That's Battle Force. Yeah, but not a lot of Joes, which, I don't know, it's a little disappointing. I was hoping for some Joes, but that's all right. You know what? We got a lot of parts down here. That guy. Some kind. There's all kinds of things down here. Fins and, yeah, radar dishes, Batman cards. There is a lot of stuff to go through down there, and to match up with all these. So again, this is going to take me, you know, on and off, probably weeks of going through this, which I'm more than happy to do, because it's fun. I mean, playing with toys, what else are you going to do with your life? It's what you dreamt of doing when you were a kid. As soon as you get to be an adult, I get to do it. All right, some more Batman stuff. And maybe some Marvel, and it looks like DC things in here, and awesome Penguin, Mego. I had a lot of the Mego superheroes when I was a kid, which we sold at a garage sale when I was a child because I wanted a 10-speed bike. I think I broke the 10-speed bike because I realized pretty quickly you can't jump those over creeks like you could the old banana seat ones. Don't know who that guy is. Pretty rad. Bunch of Batman, more Batman, Hawkman, Joker. Don't really know. There's Wolverine, and does he have all of his? Oh yeah, there you go. The claws are in there, and a Batmobile. Looks like radio controlled. Could be, except there's no controller or anything in there, so that's kind of cool. Not the stuff I really know that much about again. This actually, I'll tell you a funny story. I guess the young lady, when she was originally looking around to what to do, she went on one of the Facebook groups, 1980s toy groups, and asked, hey, did Whoopi Goldberg play in Star Trek at all? And apparently she said people were pretty rude. about her not knowing that, and so she sort of backed away from that group, which is a shame, because you know what, guys, like, okay, I get it, we're, you know, everybody's hardcore into something, but just because you are doesn't mean you should probably make fun of other people who don't know this stuff. You're not really welcoming them into the community. If you want to bring more people into the collecting, people who get passionate about things, you can snuff that out right away. And I mean, you know, maybe that's the reason why I ended up with all these, rather than her trying to sell it herself. So, but I mean, not a lot of value in the next generation. There's some chips cards in there, but cool stuff. You know, there are Trekkie fans out there who would love to get that. So, what else we got? This video is going to go a little longer than the other one. There is the Leonard tank that I was talking about. I think this is like 1986. Kind of the European version, I believe, of G.I. Joe, or one of them, because they do look, the actual figures look very similar to the 3 3/4 Joes, but they're not the same. That is the piece from the Bug. That is, I have no idea. That's G.I. Joe, don't know. Canopy for maybe the Batmobile? Yeah, that could be. Oh yeah, there's 2 of them. No, maybe not. Well, you never know. So, moving right along really quickly. This is the Ninja Turtle stuff. In here is 2 bags. One has a mix of G.I. Joe, Voltron, and what I believe to be mostly Ninja Turtle parts. There's the head of Splinter. None of the huge big guys are in here. Like, there's none of that, what was the name? Wet Spot, the Dalmatian. There's the cat, raccoony, jailbreak guy, I forget his name. Scratcher, maybe. Not in there, but there's some good, solid figures. That's the guy I was talking about from Thundercats. And there's his mask, and somewhere in there buried is his staff. But it is a good lot of vintage 1980s and early 1990s Ninja Turtles. Now again, I know nothing about Ninja Turtles, like, other than, you know, obviously the few of the big guys you always keep your eye out for. So this, for me, is going to be free education as I go through this, which I'm looking forward to. And then, last but not least, is this box of rando, like, 1980s sort of figures. This is a little battery-operated flipping robot. Missing his back. That'll probably pop up here. These were some junk-era baseball wax cards. I think that's a Remco wrestler. Yeah, I think that's a Remco wrestler. Here is a little, he's die-cast, he's metal. Magneto. There's the Fonzie, Migo Fonzie, and he's got his thumb. That thumb breaks off all the time. There's a pair of them on there. Hey. All right. Terminator? Maybe? I don't know. That looks like a later Star Wars figure from like the 90s. Rowdy Piper thumb wrestler. Another Remco wrestler. Brave Star. Oh, there's the Hoff. Look at the Hoff. Damn. And yeah, I don't know if I told the story. I believe I did in the other video, that she admitted that she found Kit, not knowing it was Kit, the car, that was missing doors, and she got rid of it, and then found the doors later, and yeah, the Hoff figure is in here too. So she told me about that, which, you know, a little bit heartbreaking. RoboCop. I think this is from the Police Academy series. That is a Transformers, probably a racer. What do we got there? Brave Star, Medroid. This is kind of fun. The giant rubbery wire Pink Panther. Look at that. There's some A-Team guys in here. And Yeah, some more Police Academy. So there's all kinds of stuff down in there. And that's it. And then also, I should probably mention, there were some great books that she threw in at the end, which were, if I dig and move stuff around, oops, out of here. I'm sure guys are losing their minds right now. You're breaking it. Yeah. There's Wheeled Warriors books, Ninja Turtles books, Transformers, some He-Man, then a bunch of, that's just Sesame Street stuff. But she's threw all these in there too. Dick Tracy, there were some Dick Tracy figures back inside there. But yeah, Alf stuff, more He-Man, the Sword of Skeletor. So yeah, that is it. I will say this, she did call me back actually, or message me back and say that she has a Rambo Uzi and some what sounds like Fisher-Price Adventure People, and I'll be going back to see those at some point and probably end up picking them up too because I like Adventure People. Yeah, that's it. This one went long. It's 26 minutes. So I will cut it off here. And yeah, I hope you guys are able to find some stuff. I've got my work cut out for me for at least a week of nights matching these guys up with Google Eye, and then you know, Yojo and all the other great sites that different people have set up over time. I think we're gonna have fun with the He-Man because that's a lot of great stuff. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy this. Sorry about the shaky camera work as usual. If you guys could like and subscribe, or if you have a friend who's into this kind of stuff and you think they might enjoy this, please feel free to pass on my info to them. All right, y'all. Happy hunting. Bye.